Hey everyone, this is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today we're going to be talking about how can I find the right retail chain for my particular product. So if you have a great consumer product and you think should be in stores, this little training will give you some things to think about and how to figure out which retail chain is the right retail chain for your product. With that said, let's get started on today's training. So let's talk about how you can find the right retail chains for your product. So if you have a great consumer product and now you're trying to figure out which retailer to focus on, this little training segment will explain some of that. With retail chains, it depends on your product, it depends on your category, and it depends on your pricing and a lot of other things, which retailers to focus on. First thing I'll tell you is if you have a very cheap product, then you should probably go after the Walmarts of the world, the low price leaders. If you have a very high-end or more expensive product because you're a new company, you can't seem to get that pricing down, don't start with the Walmarts of the world because they're going to hammer you on price till you're dead. That's how it works with retail chains. You have to look at which retailer you and what you can afford as well. Some people get so mad with chain stores, but it's honestly because they just didn't just go after anybody. They went after the ones that were really hard on price, and that really bothers people. So I have clients who sell really well on Amazon, but they want to transition over to retail chains. But then when the buyer in their particular category can get their product so much cheaper on and for their website, and the Amazon seller hears that, they think that retailers are stupid. It's a terrible idea to sell to a chain store because how can you make any money if you can't get that price down? The problem with an Amazon seller is they don't think like a retailer, and so you guys are mismatched in some ways in several categories of products. And what you need to think about is when you're going to a chain store, they buy a lot of quantities and at the same time, which means your manufacturing costs could drop significantly. They don't just buy a couple units at a chain store, the bigger ones. So for you, it's different than selling on Amazon, where on Amazon, you're actually putting your product on the site and you're selling it one by one. With the chain store, you're selling a lot of quantities. So if you're trying to keep your pricing the same on your one-on-one deals versus your big chain store deals, that's going to be difficult for a buyer sometimes in certain categories where honestly, somebody else has already sold to a chain store in bulk, brought the price down, and that's why they're going to a chain store versus going on Amazon and buying something. Amazon is competing with retail chains. So you can argue about it, or you can think about it from a business strategy point. Instead of having to go find 5,000 people to buy your product on the spot, with Amazon, you can go to a chain store and then figure out how to get your price down by buying more quantity with that manufacturer. So really, you can strategize and figure out all these things, but one of the things you got to assess is if you want to find the right retail chain for your product, probably the biggest challenge people have is who can afford my product the way I need it to. And also sometimes you get in your own way with pricing and stuff like that, but pricing does come up. Another way to know which retail chain is right for your product is to go walk stores and stop picking your top 3 to 5 favorite retail chains you want to sell to. Everybody's got their top 3 retailers, their dream retailers, Walmart, Target, blah, 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 Best Buy in that category, or Sephora, that category. You get my point. You all have your top retailers you want to sell to. The problem with that is that all your competitors are thinking the same way, which makes these individual retailers very difficult to sell into. So one thing that you can think about is maybe stop thinking about the right retail chain, but maybe finding retail chains that can actually buy your product that not every single competitor is going after. So for instance, sometimes people sell products that are perfect for a niche retailer, and you want to sell to, say, a pet store, right? So say you want to sell to PetSmart because you have a pet product. All your competitors want to sell to PetSmart, right? As a sales professional who's been selling to retailers for over 20-something years, what I would do is try PetSmart, but what I'd really do is try to go after any retailer that's obscure for the product of pets. Meaning, does Sears sell pet stuff? Then I'm going to try and sell to Sears. We obviously know Target sells stuff that are pet products, but there's so many other retailers that sell pet products that your competitors wouldn't even think to go after. And I would start with those because a lot of times, at least it gets you a purchase order, and you can always go back to your favorite retailer and show proof of sales. Because right now you go to that one store you love and they're rejecting you because all your competitors are making it difficult for you to get into that store. And then you get sad and then you don't proceed. We ask you to maybe consider that a lot of the professionals don't think about their top 2 retailers. They go beyond that and then they scale up because they go a different direction and then come back to their favorite stores. So that's just something to consider. So those are a couple ways to figure out the right retail chain for your product. Obviously, there are retailers that sell a particular product category that are better than others. Definitely should be on the list, but those are some things to consider. If you want to learn how to approach, pitch, and sell to retailers, how to get them to buy, how to have a coach review your products to ensure success, please take a look at our Retail MBA Advanced Training and Coaching System listed on retailmba.com. It is a powerful program. We also have masterclasses, live events, done for you services, anything we can think of to help you scale today. Karen Waksman, Retail MBA. I hope this helped.